Welcome, everybody, to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest-running sales training podcast in the history of podcasts. This is our podcast. I'm Brian Neal.
I'm Bill Caskey, the other half of hour.
We were just talking about what to do, and Bill made the very wise and obvious point. We can do whatever we want. This is our podcast. I'm like,
what do you think the owners, what would the board say to this?
Hang on, let me ask. Yeah, we're here every week for your listening enjoyment. Insider, you need to join the program. If you're not part of the program, be part of the program. Meets every Friday, or once a month. I shouldn't say every Friday. Doesn't mean every
once
Friday.
A month. Yeah, first Friday.
Yeah, first Friday of the month with Bill live. Great people, great coaching, great training, great value. So join that program, would you? And we know it's our 20th anniversary. And
we need to make a pitch for audio because we've gotten a couple. We have a couple, but we need dozens more.
We need dozens. And listener at advancedsellingpodcast.com. Yeah. Send it there. A little audio file. Just literally take your phone, voicemail. You can say anything you want. You can cuss us out if you want. You can say we're full of baloney. Yeah. We'll bleep you out if you cuss. That's fine. Keep our G rating. But we'd love to hear from you. Just if you've been a long-term listener, we just want to give you guys a shout out too. We just think it'd be kind of fun. And since no one else is planning that, we planned our own party. It's kind of like just waiting for all the people to come like, hey, let's do something for Bill and Bryan for their 20th anniversary. And so far, nobody said that. So we'll make our own party up. That's fine.
We will.
It's fine.
We will. So the target date is September. So now is the time to get your audio in. Listener at advancedsellingpodcast.com. Just make it a short little 1 minute, what it's meant to you. How you listen to us, how long you've been listening. Just give us some clips and we'll make the best of them.
Yep. Give an update, personal story update.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about my misconstruing of a barista at Starbucks when she said, I gotcha. Yeah. She came out, I don't know if you remember, she came out from behind. I was waiting there for a while and I'm like, hey, is anybody back there? Oh, hey, Bill, I got you. And I got you. I thought, man, I got this, meaning she's going to buy from me because of my delay, my 1 minute delay. And so I put my card back in my wallet and she goes, that'll be $3.27 or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I thought I got you, man. Well, anyway, so I told that story. And then the other day I went in and I had a sports jacket on. I was going to a funeral of a friend of mine. And another lady says, oh, you're looking nice today, Bill, compared to the way you usually look. And I said, yeah, I'm going to a funeral. She goes, what would you like today? I said, I'll have a triple espresso. She goes, I got this. And so then I'm confused. Now I'm like, okay, I got this. Am I putting my card away? Am I taking it out? Do I tell the story? Because this was the manager actually. And I said, okay, so here's my card. She goes, no, I got this. I'm like, okay, was that the funeral thing? Was it me dressed up? What was? So I need some kind of rule book from Starbucks. So I got you. I got this. Anyway, so that's a
rule book.
I will not.
Well, you know what? This is the balance of the universe, is it not? I mean, this is how the universe is balanced. And you went to the same place and you didn't expect anything this time and it came back around. So now you're even.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, you're even.
That's right. Expect nothing. That's really the lesson there.
What a great lesson. Expect nothing. And, $3.27, I think, is probably a little cheap for your coffee. I'm guessing it's more like $9.
Well, I have two. I have two favorites. The least favorite is the $3.27.
Oh, there is one $3.27. Oh, yeah. Good. That's good.
So and this kind of gets us into the lesson to the topic today is lessons we learn from people.
Yep.
And you and I were reminiscing a little bit before we started and about all the characters that we've come across over the 20, 30 years that we've known each other and been in this business and been podcasting and been networking in the local community and all that. And we just rifled off like 10 names of people and hopefully they're not listening. We're not going to put the names out there, but it's just like, remember him? Oh God, what was going on with him? And so we thought we would do an episode on just what the people of sales and how you run into all sorts, but everybody brings you a lesson. Yeah. Everybody brings you something, even if it's not business, it's either a realization or I remember one time a guy stopped me and said, don't ever chew gum in the training. It's that kind of thing. Like he was a client, but he wasn't paying much, but he told me something that like, you know what, that's right. I should not chew gum. So I thought we could reminisce a little bit and then talk about some of the people and the lessons we've learned from
This is a great topic. Timely. So I'm going to read a snippet from a text that I sent to my second born and oldest son. My oldest is a daughter, Sam, who starts his first job today, post-college, post-business school at Amazon. Great job. Great job. Hard job. Great job. And I said, in this long text, I'm going to read the whole thing. Have a great day one. I said, work harder and work smarter than everybody else. Second bullet says, learn from everyone. Third bullet says, see everyone as a human and as an equal. This is my advice to Sam. And then let mistakes teach you, and then let them go. And then some more stuff. But I thought that's what got me thinking about that. Like, you remember your first job and you learn from everybody. So we're going to riff on that today, like some learning, some people. Maybe we'll use first names, last initials.
Yeah.
We'll see. Can I start?
Yeah, you go, and then I've got one that I told you about earlier, but I think it's interesting. Go ahead.
And I'm going to use this guy's name as we call them. My first job as an intern was at Procter & Gamble. I called on grocery stores. Loved Procter & Gamble. Did not like going into grocery stores as my job. It just wasn't uplifting to me. And you had to go see the store manager back then. And at the Mount Airy, Ohio IGA, there was a guy who was the general manager there named Larry. And Larry wore a suit every day. And it was coming off the 80s, but he was sort of stuck there. He wore a leisure type suit. Oh. It's like the old brown polyester, the old green.
Sure, I had one of those.
So, Larry must have had 40 of them. He had a different one for every day. And so I called him Leisure Suit Larry. We called him Leisure Suit Larry. Leisure Suit Larry would never speak to a salesperson. And you would actually, and the way we were trained was to follow him around the store, talking to him while he wasn't acknowledging that you were even in his presence. Oh my God. And I have never felt so uncomfortable and so like socially awkward. Like, what are we doing? But what I learned from that experience was you can't force yourself onto people.
Yeah.
You just can't, and you shouldn't. And we were taught then, and this is like earlier, this is many, many years ago, you got to be aggressive, got to go after him, got to get after him, be the one that breaks down Leisure Suit Larry. And I'm like, no one's breaking this cat down, man. He doesn't want to talk to anybody.
He's breaking us down.
He is breaking us down, and he's winning. And I bet I'm not sure he would still be alive just based on how old he was then. That would be like a record. But
he's still not talking to people.
Still not talking. So it just, you sometimes have to let people be.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have had the it's clear that you don't want to speak to people like me, so I'm going to leave and I'm never coming back. And I wish you lots of luck in your life, dude. I really do. But I'm not going to bug you anymore. But that's not how we could do it. We had to keep going back and back and back and back.
Well, you would have gotten pushback from P&G for that move too.
Massive.
I thought you were going to say, with your sense of humor, you could have just, the only aim is to make him smile. That's all. And just, follow him around and say, I think you're going to aisle 3.
I can help you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can help you. How's it going, Larry? You trying to build rapport with him? He just wouldn't talk. He's just like changing out the little tags, the little yellow tags and orange tags.
Oh, man.
Funny. Leisure Suit Larry.
I had I had a situation where you and I were working together back years ago, and we got a proposal, our request for bid or RFQ for training a group of commercial realtors. And we knew that to prepare an RFP was going to take hours, and it was going to go to the RFP, hellhole, and we'd never hear again. So we knew we needed to get to the kind of the main agent or the managing partner at this office, which was in Indianapolis, which was a pretty good sized office. They had 50, 60 people. And we heard about the guy. The guy's name was Jeff. And we were told that, you ain't getting to Jeff. I mean, Jeff is like he's brutal. He's brutal on salespeople. You don't want to, send the RFP in, and it might get to him. It might not be. You don't want to be around Jeff. And we're thinking, Jeff, man, this guy's brutal. I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to beat us up or what? And so we were intimidated just based on what other people said. And I've had other situations like that where, oh, I got to watch Brian, he doesn't like anything from the outside. Then you talk to Brian, he's like, oh, no, I'm very open. He's like, well, how did everybody get that impression? And Jeff has turned out to be one of my best friends over the last 15 years. And he retired from his position. And what prompted that is his daughter and my daughters were sorority sisters.
Wow.
And we were at a football game once, and I knew his daughter, and I said, your dad here? Yeah, my dad. And he came up and said his name, and I'm like, are you with blank Realty? He said, yeah. I said, oh my God, you're a good guy. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, we were told you were a jerk. I'm not a jerk. So it was funny, and it turned out to be a great friendship, but you just cannot believe anything you hear, good or bad, about me.
No. Isn't it interesting? And we so often in sales make those decisions for other people. Like we hear that like, you're not going to get to them. And I said, okay. So I will let's see. God, there's so many people coming to mine, aren't there? So I'm going to go to my I'm going to stay at P&G for another person. This guy's name was Bill Blair. I believe Bill has passed away also. And was my first district manager. So like my boss's boss. And he loved intern, like he loved, us and had the energy and the old school P&G. And he was very proud of his job and what he did. And he had a pen that he had where he used to write all the orders. This pen's written, $14 million worth of orders. He was awesome. But his assistant's name was Arlene Orbegozo. And he, without saying anything, made her the most important person in our whole district. Without even doing the cliche, like after you plan a meeting, like, but the star of the show here is who did the, did the
patronizing.
It's kind of cliched patronizing. Yeah. Bill was not that way with her. She was his equal, his partner. She could boss him around. And I was raised, getting into my family heritage a little bit, the opposite of that. I was raised to think people at a level like her role was less than. That's how I was raised. Very wrong. Not by my mom. I should say that. By my dad. He treated what at the time would be a secretary as a less than.
Right.
And I observed that. And then I observed the opposite from Bill. And I'm like, man, everyone's a human and everyone is an equal. And if you do that, all of this, the up and the down, most people think about it down. I think about it up too. Like Jeff,
absolutely.
Jeff's just a guy.
Absolutely.
And he's just a guy. If you just get in your head, I learned this from Bill, everyone's a human and everyone's equal. Just think that way. You'll have no problems in anything ever in business. And I learned that from watching Bill and Arlene work together. And they were just great human beings.
And you'll never have that one up or one down disease where when I'm talking to somebody, even if you're, maybe you're talking to a salesperson and you'd really have to be talking to the owner of the company, still, you cannot dismiss people because that salesperson may have more sway than the sales leader does and may be, the son-in-law that you just don't know. There's so much we don't know. Yeah. I was going to add a little bit to that today. Sometimes we look, if we've been in sales for a while, been in the business, let's say we're in our 40s or 50s, and we look at a young person who's 25 and we can tend to look down on them because they don't know much. Yeah. You got to be careful with that. Because what they do know is they know technology, and they are listening and constantly. They're listening to Gary Vaynerchuk. You aren't. They're listening to Brad Milet or whatever his name is, Brad Lee, and you're not. They're listening to people and you're not, and they're learning all this time. You think you know it all. They know they don't, and so they're trying to gather it. And what they're learning are new things. You and I are just reliving old things. And so be very careful about looking down on younger people, either inside your organization or just period. There's some great young people out there. And I introduced my grandson. We were at Starbucks a couple of days ago and we had a little family outing there. And there's a young man that works at the Starbucks named Joey. And Joey is a Christian boy. He's 20 years old. He's, in shape, just a nice kid. I mean, you look at the way he interacts with adults is just like he's all world.
Mhm.
And so we were talking outside. I introduced him to Evan, and I said, "Hey, Evan, this is Joey, and he's a good man. And Evan's going to be a baseball player." "Oh, really?" And they talked for a little bit. And I said, "Where'd you go to school, Joey?" He said, "Homeschooled." I'm like, of course.
There it
Of
is.
course.
There it is.
Yeah. And I don't know how many homes. Now, this is also dangerous, that I'm starting to equate homeschool with a little bit more better conversations,
Yeah.
a little bit more mature. Doesn't mean they are.
Yep.
That can also get me in trouble, is when I start to assume things, even on the positive side. And so I thought that was fascinating, because it's like, well, of course, why did I not think that?
So true. You got another one?
I don't, but let's come back next time.
Okay.
And let's do. There's a steady stream of lessons here, and hopefully this is something more than just us preaching to you and lecturing to you. That there's some lessons, and you might think about your own world of people and characters, as I call them, that you've run across over the years, and think about, that guy was a terrible boss, but what did he teach me about being a terrible boss?
That's right. That's great. Be sure to go to join the Insider program, advancedsellingpodcast.com. Look up Insider. It's all over the place there on the website. Also, listener at advancedsellingpodcast.com. Send us a quick little audio file just saying for our 20th anniversary, that party that Bill and I are throwing for ourselves, and just tell us about what the podcast meant to you, how you consume it, what you do, what you love, what you don't love. And listener at advancedsellingpodcast.com is that email. Just send a little audio file, piece of cake.
Perfect. See you next time. Bye.